So yeah, there's some OEMs out there that just don't get enough love.
Which is unfortunate.
And we're here to give them some hugs and care and TLC because you guys need to learn more about them. So here is some Underdog OEMs from Gulf Coast Gearheads. So first on our list, Jacob, we got, what is it, Genesis?
The Genesis, which is a luxury brand of Hyundai. It's a little bit newer, and it's kind of weird. I think it's weird that they picked this name to be specific because they used to have the Hyundai Genesis Coupe. And it was an actual vehicle, and now it's branched off to become its own thing, kind of like Lincoln to Ford, Cadillac to Chevy, that kind of thing.
There's probably some children's book out there talking about how they got to Hyundai to Genesis, but we're not going to read it to you tonight.
No.
But what we are going to tell you is, in our opinion, and you've seen on other videos, we have talked up Genesis pretty hard.
We've pumped the tires a little bit.
Yeah, and I am not ashamed. They are a good brand, and let us start off with talking about why they're an underdog OEM. Now, like Jacob said, they're a luxury brand. They are featured in the same segment. Let's just take the G70. So you're talking about a car that's the same size as a 3 Series, as a C-Class Mercedes, or even if you put it into Cadillac, is the CTS, which is now the CT4. So it's like around this sedan size, mid-size sedan, not really mid-size, more sporty.
Yeah, a little bit smaller, and then it goes up from there because they have G80, G90s, which are bigger and bigger vehicles, so G70 is the smallest of the sedans.
Right, and that's, in our opinion, that's probably the more popular of the sedan market of Genesis, when in reality, their most popular segment will now turn into the SUVs that they're creating with the GV70s.
Yeah, probably eventually. And similar thing with the GV70, the higher the number at the end there, the larger the vehicle is, which to me, that just makes sense. Naming conventions, real easy to remember. Same thing like you're saying earlier, BMW 5 Series is smaller than a 7 Series, but is bigger than a 3 Series. Like that just makes sense.
Now, other than that, I mean, they have a great warranty, which nobody offers that in the luxury segment.
And what's the warranty, Josh?
Was it 10 years, 100,000 miles?
Oh my gosh!
Like what's better than driving? What is it? The G70, you get a 3.3 liter turbo, and that sucker has 370 horsepower, 360 horsepower.
Got some pickup.
And you could drive for the next 10 years and not worry about it.
And you probably could because it's a Hyundai. So.
And I'm very sure a lot of those cars come standard pretty much with heated new air conditioned seats, heated steering wheel. Like these things are loaded down just because they are an underdog. They are fighting uphill.
Yes.
But I definitely recommend you guys out there, go search them up. They're an exciting brand right now. And I think at this moment, they're in the lower end, the pricing of their segment.
For sure. It's a good value for it. Another good underdog OEM for its value is Buick. So that is, we already mentioned earlier, Cadillac is the luxury segment.
Yeah, we mentioned in other videos,
GM.
The Encore is a solid value.
Yes, but Buick is a little bit like a baby step or maybe a full step below Cadillac. They're still luxury vehicles and they have higher trims, like the Avenir, I think is their highest trim that they have right now. And again, you already mentioned the Encore. It is a great value for the vehicle you're getting.
Right, and they're all kind of all over the place in comparison to Genesis. This is a brand where we really don't know the future of Buick, but one thing we do know is the future is sedans are dead, and the SUVs, which is one thing, is very simple. They all start with E's, and there are only 3 sizes, so we don't have to question anything about which one's bigger, which one's smaller. It's Encore, Envision, and Enclave. Now, all of them very nice.
You do have the Encore GX now, which is in between those, the Encore and the Enclave. So you do, or the Envision. Which one's the middle one you said?
The Envision, yeah.
Envision. They always throw me off. You know, 3 E's make it easy, but I get it mixed up sometimes.
Yeah, and Buick gets picked on pretty hard. I mean, like Jacob said, some people don't know how to, like, where do they go? They can kind of get lost in the mess of all these brands. But why we call them an underdog, now, just take the Encore GX in that segment. It is crazy the value you can get in it because I'm pretty sure all of them come standard with leather interior. You're going to have heated seats, and some brands or some models in that segment do not have that. You have like the EcoSport, I think that comes standard with like cloth seats.
Yeah.
And then the Hyundai Kona.
Even to compare it to NGM, it's pretty much the luxury Chevrolet Trax. And the Trax definitely come standard with cloth interior. So for a couple grand extra, I think the starting MSRP is around 20, if not lower than that, and you're getting leather seats and AC and heated seats. So
yeah, you can even get some dealerships still have 2019 models of the Encore.
Yeah,
those things are pushing around 18 or 19, which is really silly.
Which is a good thing for you if you want to buy this, that it's an Underdog, because people are forgetting about it. That's why you still have 2019s around.
Right. So out there, you may actually, the fact that Buick is a loss leader in some categories, you can capitalize on a really good value of a benefit because the dealership can't get rid of some of these cars.
Yeah, that's very true.
Now, one of my personal favorites, I talk about, they definitely don't get enough love.
No,
and this is Volvo.
Oh, yes.
Now, Volvo has had a wild history. They have bounced around. At one point in time, Ford owned them in the late 2000s and then had to end up selling them away. But fast forward, we are now in 2020 and they're owned by Geely. And Geely is a Chinese tech company, and this is the greatest thing that's ever happened to Volvo since about the 70s and 80s. They're now some of the most high-tech vehicles on the road in their segment. And if you're looking for sedans, these are a heck of a value because a lot of them, they're tough to sell, especially the S90s, which is the mid to bigger size sedan.
That's their speedboat.
Yeah, the speedboat, exactly. But you can go in there and they are some of what I've considered in other videos we talked about, some of the OGs of putting in the iPad looking infotainment, but it's not
they're huge,
jutting out from the dash.
Yeah, it's very flush, very even with
beautiful.
It. We've sat in them for the last 3 years at the Houston Auto Show. Every year we went, and they've always impressed me every time we've gone.
And there's some really cool engine options. They're very rare, but you can go find right now a Volvo S60 T8 Polestar. Now, what makes this matter? Well, if you go find one of these suckers, they actually have, as long as it's got the T8, because not all of them are going to be Polestar, they might have a T8R design or a T8 inscription, but they have a supercharged, turbocharged, and hybrid engine, all in one.
Got that compound boost. You need it all. You're like, do I want the supercharger, the turbo? Volvo was like, both. You get both.
Yeah, and it pushes up near close to mid 400 horsepower.
Like, but we're concerned about the gas mileage with all this boost in the engine. Oh, it's a hybrid.
Super cool engine. I mean, between us, like that's not our cup of tea to have that wild of an engine, but I know that is going to be, it's like very first of its time.
Yeah. Whereas before they used to be your grandparents' car of choice, but now they're much more high tech, much more cooler, faster, fancier looking. They just improved tenfold in my opinion.
Not a lot of hybrid engines are that fast. I mean, the only other one I can think of is like the NSX, and that's $120,000.
That's a supercar, yeah.
And there are others, but big thing here to note is a lot of these Volvos get marked down by like $10,000. I mean, it's a heck of a value. I even really like the XC40s.
Yes.
Beautiful SUV. But definitely give these guys a look. And another thing is the certified warranty is insane. It's like 6 years, unlimited miles.
Jeez.
On whenever you buy it. This isn't like a since in-service date. So, I mean, you can buy that sucker and not worry about it for 6 years.
It's pretty good.
Like, who needs reliability when I got everything covered? And theirs covers electrical problems.
Oh,
that's
some
not
warranties
normal.
Won't. No, they'll tell you it's bumper to bumper, but it excludes these key factors right here. So that's an important detail.
Volvo may be getting built by a Chinese tech company, but they still give you that Swedish love of saying everything is covered when we say bumper to bumper.
Yeah, you might think it's cheap, but it's not. So
that's right.
Then the last OEM on this list, Josh, is Infiniti. We've about traveled all the way across the world at this point.
We started at the Genesis.
We did. We started in Korea.
And now we're ending up
to America. Then we went to Sweden, and now to Japan. So now
to Infiniti and beyond.
Yeah, well, we say Japan because Infiniti is Nissan's luxury brand, but it's an American-only thing. So like
Lexus.
Yeah. So now we're back in America, not Japan. It's like partially like half Japanese, half American.
But hey, we're not picking on it. That's a very nice brand.
Oh, yes. It's just kind of a weird thing because you would think that whatever they sell here, they sell over there because they make them over there and they ship them over. But
it's because they think in America we have to live up to this lifestyle when in Japan and other countries it's more about like gets the job done.
Pretty much,
nice
yeah.
product, whatever.
Yeah.
Taxes are different too, but that's another thing.
Yeah, but again, this is another vehicle that every year we go to the Houston Auto Show and we sit in it and we're like, this is a really nice car.
I really wish they let us drive them. I mean,
yeah,
gosh.
right? Well, I think we can, but we'll get in trouble. You just got to make it
yeah,
out the door
right.
fast enough. So.
Get like...
Which in the Q60 you probably could. So.
Yeah, I mean, outside of everything else being considered, Infiniti gets picked on in its segment because it is against Lexus, which I think trounces on it.
Mm-hmm.
They have definitely made some strides recently. I know if you go to a dealership near you and find a QX50, that is a good-looking SUV. This is the same size as like a Q5 or an X5, so it's like your bigger SUV.
Yeah.
But best bang for your buck, in my opinion, in that segment.
No, and again, they've upped their game in how these vehicles look. Like we were just talking about with Volvo, Infiniti has just improved their legs. It's much more sleek design, and to me, it's one of the better looking luxury brands out there. It's one of my favorites just based off of looks alone.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't used to look as great. I know they used to have, they used to have all these kind of weird letterings, like the F stuff, like the FX, and like it was all over the place.
Yeah.
And I that's what I think they've lost a lot of touch with their market, because it's like, what the heck is going on? But the one thing that did ring true, I think they did keep some like cult following customers, was back when they had the Journey. Back when they had those older models that were the American Skyline.
Yeah.
And that brought in a lot of those customers that were around forever.
Like I've seen people with the AutoZone stickers on the back just put Skyline across their G35s,
Yeah.
but like that's also created a cult following too, because it's a sporty, now it's cheap because it's used, but a nice coupe that has some decent pickup and go to it.
Now, I will tell you guys, you can go to a dealership right now, or even some of these used car dealerships, and you can find a Q60, beautiful car. This is talking about their coupe right now, and you can find them with a twin turbo V6 going for mid 20s, and it only has like 15 to 20,000 miles.
Which is a steal.
That's a steal. You're already pushing, I think it's around mid 300 horsepower.
I think,
because they have the Q60 Red Sport 400.
Okay.
Is their upgraded beast, and it has 400 horsepower. It's a track type car, but even if you get the lower end model, it's still really nice. Everything is soft touch materials. The only thing I don't like about Infiniti right now is they have the double infotainment screen.
It is kind of funky.
Yeah, you have one is for your seat controls and your heated seats and stuff like that.
Okay.
While the top one does your radio.
Okay.
But I mean, some people really like that. I don't know. I'm not a big fan. I'd rather them just replace the bottom screen with buttons. But that's kind of going out the window. I mean, you got like Volvo, like we talked about earlier. They got the giant iPads. But either way, really, really solid value. I think Infiniti is going in the right direction. I think they just need to figure out who they are and be consistent with it.
Yeah. So pretty much the motto of this episode is these are all really great luxury vehicles that you could get at a really discounted price, whether it's new or slightly used, and you would be getting a great vehicle.
Yeah, I mean, be on the lookout for these, and we're not picking on any of these, and just keep in mind, some of these are not as popular as other cars, so that may be a benefit to you guys. You don't have to drive the car that everybody else is driving.
No.
But it also means that maybe there are reasons people weren't buying them, but that is up to your opinion, and we're here to tell you we like some of these cars, so be on the lookout, search them up, educate. But other than that, go ahead and like this video if you really liked it. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We really appreciate all the support we can get.
Also down below.
Give us the follows on all of our social media. Make sure you come out and support and really give us all we can. We're trying to do our best with these videos.
Oh yeah, we're out here having fun, so have fun with us.
But without further ado, that is Gulf Coast Gearheads signing off.